Hey, my name is Mike, and this is a too long didn't read version of Fel Lord Zakuun on Mythic. In phase 1, the boss will spawn these transparent green swirlies. Someone should be standing in these until they disappear to prevent a Fel Crystal from spawning. Fel Crystals do small raid-wide AoE and additional damage to anyone near it. If a player soaks this swirl, they take a little bit of damage as well as get latent energy put on them. If they soak another swirl while they have this, they'll do a raid-wide AoE. Zakuun will hit the tank and 4 players within 5 yards of them with Soul Cleave. The tank will receive a 90-second debuff that increases the shadow damage they take. Anyone hit by this will be in the Shadow Realm. Surviving the realm will remove latent energy from you if you have it. However, you will get another 2.5 minute debuff that prevents you from soaking any more crystals. As players leave the Shadow Realm, they spawn a turret inside that spawns more things for players to avoid the next time they're in there. So the first group inside has less to avoid than the last group inside. When you're here, just avoid these purple waves and jump over these rings. When people come out of this realm, they will also spawn some waves in the main room. Fel Lord also spawns his own purple waves in the main room with cavitation. If these waves hit a crystal or a player with latent energy, they will do a raid-wide AoE. So people with latent energy avoid these, and anyone who doesn't have latent energy should be making sure none of these touch the crystals. Random people will get a healing absorption effect on them called Befouled. When it's healed through, they do damage to anyone within 6 yards of them. Phase 2 starts when the boss throws his axe on the floor. This whole phase lasts about 45 seconds. His axe will be doing a raid-wide AoE, and the boss's haste is also increased by 30%. Every time the tank gets hit, Fel Lord will hit the next closest target within 5 yards of him. For this reason, tanks need to stack up. If there's no one within 5 yards, the tank will get hit twice and probably die. The boss will also put Seed of Destruction on people, which is a 5-second debuff. Once it fades away, they'll spawn a bunch of purple waves around them. At 30% health, phase 3 will start. In this phase, he does a raid-wide AoE. Again, he hits the tank and the closest target within 5 yards of them, so tanks should still be stacking up. For this fight, my guild pulled Zakuun towards the entrance of this area and fought him there. We had 4 groups assigned to soak the crystals. The first 2 groups that soaked would also be joining the tank for Soul Cleave. The people in the first 2 groups were all players who had really good defensive cooldowns and high survivability, such as hunters, paladins, and priests. When exiting the Shadow Realm, all the players would stack up together on one corner so only one turret spawned inside. As they were about to come out, they would pop all their defensive cooldowns, so all the waves that spawned in the main room were absorbed by these players. The crystals that we left up were always the ones by the entrance. The 3rd and 4th Soul Cleaves only consisted of the tank being hit. The ranged all stacked up together on one spot in the room. This was so all the waves that spawned during cavitation went to one area. In front of this ranged group, we had a mage or 2 alternating mages who would absorb these waves every single time. They would use greater invisibility for the first set and then evanescence for the second. When Seeds of Destruction came out, each player ran to the world marker that was the same as their boss mods marker. The world markers were placed just behind where Fel Lord is pre-pull. By standing here, we had minimal waves going out in the raid and towards the crystals, and as long as everyone stood in the correct position, we knew exactly where the waves would be going. And the positioning of the world markers allowed people that were affected by seeds to simply step forward a little bit to avoid being hit by everyone else's seeds. As these seeds went out, the tanks would call for some defensive cooldowns. All of our big offensive cooldowns were used at the 30% in rage. That was a too long didn't read version of Fel Lord Zakuun on Mythic. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know down below in the comments. Thanks for watching, have a great day!